Welcome, everyone, to another installment of En El Centro podcast, in which we interview Hispanic and Latinx students, staff, and faculty at Virginia Tech for about 30 minutes and highlight the great work they've done. My name is Kelby Henriquez, one of the student workers here at El Centro, the Hispanic and Latinx Cultural Center here at Virginia Tech. With me today is a good friend of mine, Daniel Rico from VT Admissions. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing well, Kelby. How are you doing?
Living life as always.
Living life. That's what I like to hear.
All right. So you've been on the other end of this stuff, and now you get to be from interviewer to interviewee. So we'll go ahead and start off with some questions.
Yeah, sure. I'm excited. Let's get started.
All right. So could you introduce yourself and tell us a time when you felt useful?
Sure. So quick introduction, guys. My name is Daniel Rico. I'm a Virginia Tech graduate. Graduated in the spring of 2021. I double majored in political science, criminology. I currently work in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions as an admissions counselor. Some other formal roles I hold. I am the faculty advisor for the Virginia Tech provisional chapter of La Unidad Latina Lambda Upsilon Lambda Fraternity Incorporated, as well as the secretary of the Latinx and Hispanic Alumni Society at Virginia Tech, and a member of the Latin Link Book and Supply Grant Review Committee. So those are some of the involvements that I'm currently in. And quick question, the follow-up question was when I felt useful, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to quickly answer that, honestly, being involved makes me feel useful. I definitely enjoy serving my community, especially the Latinx Hispanic community at Virginia Tech. It's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And I just like to use my skill set and use it to translate to organizational leadership, helping others, and honestly just being there in support for others when they need it.
Awesome. So you sound like
yeah,
really involved, really deep rooted into the community. It's a wonderful thing, Daniel. So before we go into the other experiences you had here with Virginia Tech, I was interested in something that I found in doing some research with your time last summer as a governor's fellow. Could you tell us a little bit of what that was like?
Sure. Yeah. So in the summertime, I was a fellow for the Commonwealth of Virginia's governor office. There was 25 of us who were selected, and each of us were housed within the different cabinets, secretary offices under the governor. So I was assigned to the, Secretary of Veterans and Defense Affairs. Her name was Secretary Jabs. And I just engaged in a lot of research, a lot of things that kind of took place over that two-month period. We did a lot of research. I looked at different budgets from different states. I was helping build recommendations for our policy that pertained to veterans and defense affairs. With this, I kind of looked into different budgets, looked at different social programs and how it might benefit the families of members as tuition reimbursement, how our model might compare to other states and how we can reform that. That was really awesome, getting to kind of engage in like the real world work. Let me see. In the fellowship, we got to go on trips too. We worked during the daytimes, but we took trips out to the shipyard in Norfolk. We got to actually go to a medical marijuana dispensary plant where they were kind of showed us the process of how things are done, given the new legislation that's been passed in Virginia. Got to connect with some members of the Latino Advisory Board as well, which is pretty awesome. Well, actually, my boss, Juan Espinoza, he works as the director of undergrad admissions. He's also on the Latino Advisory Board. So it was cool and kind of getting to see how kind of small the world is, you know? I never would have guessed that my boss would be working with another boss that I was part of. Honestly, really great experience. I am excited that going into the fellowship, working in state government made me realize that is exactly where I want to be. It made me realize that I did choose the right major. So yeah, really great experience overall.
4 years of self-investment will pay it out. That's awesome. Wow, that sounds like a really incredible opportunity. Like you got to be there with the meat potatoes of working in the higher executive branches of the Virginia state government. That must be something you can really cherish for a long time.
Absolutely, it was a great experience. And also, I even got to take a picture with the governor, which I've got right here.
Oh wow, you signed it and everything.
Signed and everything, yeah.
That's incredible.
Really awesome experience.
Well, I'm really proud of you, Dan. That's a really awesome experience you must have had. So going into more of your VT admissions role, what brought you to become an admissions counselor?
So the way that I got involved in admissions, I was actually connected via a mentor. Her name was Luisa Burgos. She now is I believe, she works in SOAR. She's in the SOAR office. She basically let me and a couple other seniors know that they had some openings available in their office and that we should apply. Looked into it, realized that it was kind of a good match for me. And that's how I got connected in. I interviewed over the summer, and I started in the office in August. So since having started, it's been busy. In the fall, we engaged in recruitment. I was assigned to Maryland and Delaware to go out and talk to different high school students with a plethora of different backgrounds, which was really cool. Now we're in the thick of reading season, meaning that we're reading applications, the essays from incoming freshmen and transfer students, and building recommendations based on their qualifications as if they should be accepted or not. So really great experience so far. Really glad that I joined in.
Right. Okay. And so you talking about like how it's now a reading season. What's the regular day in an admissions counselor throughout the year, if you can touch on that?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we kind of focus on different things throughout the academic year. It's really kind of based on the academic cycle. So in the thick of reading season, essentially a lot of us are working remotely, still with some office duties, but essentially wake up, go to the office at 8, have my coffee, have my little buttered toast, and just reading applications, essentially looking at the Common App, as well as the coalition applications that have come into our database, reading for our specific territories that we manage, and just evaluating them based on different scales. Virginia Tech has a holistic review when we're looking at applicants. So not only are we looking at academic rigor and academic performance, but we're also looking at their involvements, seeing that they kind of embody that spirit of prosum, things like that. So that's pretty much the day. It's 8 to 5, pretty flexible, but great work environment for sure.
Oh, it sounds really kind of up to pace, and you moving through things. There's always something to do, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's awesome. And something great about the position as well is kind of working on different projects. Everybody has, aside from reading applications, different things that they work on. I joined the diversity team. So I work closely with Pedro Baez Martinez, as well as another one of my colleagues on diversity programs such as Fall Visitation, the Gateway program coming up in April, which I was actually a part of as an incoming freshman. So it's actually really cool to kind of see it on the other side, as well as the Hispanic College Institute and the Black College Institute in the summertime. So a lot to do, always a lot to do.
No, it sounds like you came full circle with it. You came to Tech because of the Gateway, and now you're helping out other kids to get into Gateway. That's great.
Yeah,
Bit of a side question though. You were saying that going through the day, oh, excuse me, I kind of just lost my train of thought. One sec.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No, it's totally fine. I always had the question in mind. I completely just forgot it. But let's just move on to the next question that I have written down here, which is the biggest challenge as a VT admissions counselor would be what you would say?
Honestly, I keep referring back to reading season. Right now, we are just in the thick of it. We have a huge deadline. Early action applications, their decision letters are being mailed out in the next couple of weeks. So we need to get them all read, all the applications and essays graded by a certain date. And then we roll into a regular decision. Honestly, it's not necessarily difficult. It's just a lot of work, a lot of kind of like cramming at the last minute to make sure everything's going good. But yeah, that's honestly the biggest challenge, I would say.
Just a lot of tedious kind of continuous work, I'm trying to say.
Pretty much.
Right, okay. And so kind of I wanted to kind of dive in a little deeper with that, more of a side question here, but has there been any like essays or topics that you stood out to you, were really interesting?
Any interesting topics? Let's see. I always find it interesting when students talk about their let me think. I always find it interesting when they talk about their personal experiences, such as like different adversities they faced. I find that really interesting, especially when I'm looking at essays. It's one thing to kind of list off all of your leadership experiences and your involvements, but I like to see what you did with that leadership. Anybody can be vice president or president of an organization, but it's what you use with that position and what you get done for whatever your purpose is. And I like to see when students go into detail about that. It's honestly quality over quantity. Some situations. I don't really have any examples off the top of my head, but those are always really cool. And I think a second thing that I always find interesting is seeing students who've actively volunteered during the pandemic. I've been seeing a lot of applications actually about students who worked at testing sites or things like that. That's awesome to me. I love to see that students are really getting out there and trying to make the best out of a situation that we're all in presently.
No, that's incredible. You got to have some sort of willpower, different kind of character to be willing to go out and help people, especially when like things are going so having a hard time all the time.
Right.
It's great. No, it's really inspiring to hear people are willing to help out regardless of whatever events going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, well, speaking about these were interesting topics. What has so far been your favorite part about your current position?
The favorite part I would say has definitely been the travel. The travel experience has been great. As I mentioned, I started in August, and come the first week of September, I was already out on the road. So it was a quick learning period, but I was assigned the Maryland and Delaware regions. So going into Baltimore, again, meeting a plethora of students from very, very different backgrounds, going to underserved communities, kind of talking about tech, as well as going to private schools. It's very interesting having to engage with students and being able to relate to them and figuring out the best way of going about things. I've never really traveled outside of the states that I've lived in. Maryland and Delaware, I never really explored them. So just being able to drive through Baltimore and kind of getting familiar with the city, going out to Delaware, didn't really know much what was going on in Delaware, but now I know, that apparently they got free. They don't do sales tax when you go shopping. So that was something cool. I got to go shopping on the weekends. So yeah, I love the travel aspect. It's really cool to just get out of Blacksburg and see new things for sure.
Well, now I know where I'm going to go buy my clothes and stuff from now on. Going to Delaware, just get rid of that sales tax.
Let's go.
But no, Baltimore, I think it's been a good place to get some crabs too. I know I've been there a couple of times just to explore, and anytime we went there, we'd always get a bunch of crabs, Old Bay season, and just chew on that for the day.
Yes, I did not realize. Yeah, I didn't realize how near and dear to Marylanders' hearts that Old Bay is. They love that stuff up there.
It's their trademark, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then so moving on a little further, what are some things that you don't see students doing in their applications that you would want that you could see more of that would make them stand out?
Honestly, something that I think that not many people know is you can list pretty much any extracurricular involvement that you are in on your list of extracurriculars. So you can list family responsibilities, taking care of brothers and sisters, tutoring them through their math or English homework, things like that. Go into detail about that, because maybe you didn't join an organization or a volunteer team, but you were at home taking care of your brothers and sisters. Maybe mom and dad were working late and you had to cook. Students need to know that they are able to list those on their applications, and it definitely does show their commitment to service and leadership. It's just a different perspective, so to speak. But definitely, I always tell students that I'm coming across, list everything. It's our jobs to kind of sift to what is important, what is not. Just give it all to us, because you want to get your best chance of fitting in, of course. And kind of what I mentioned earlier, just touching on specifics when you're talking about your roles or experiences and things like that. Again, it's great to list a million things, but really just dig in specifically on essay portions about what it is you did and what it meant to you, so that way we can get a great understanding of who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm. What it meant to you, and the devil is in the details. That seems to be the message I'm picking up from you.
Yes.
So yes. Great. Yeah, I think that's probably a really insightful thing. I didn't know that you can even put stuff down like, oh, I was taking care of my siblings after school. I thought that was like, oh, that's family responsibilities. That's not really extracurricular. Right. Interesting. I think that'd be really helpful for a lot of students.
For sure.
And now I do want to go backtrack a little bit. You mentioned that you were part of the diversity team with the admissions counselor, or the admissions team, excuse me. What drew you to work with diversity?
Honestly, my experiences on campus as a student drew me to the diversity team. Having as a student, I was part of the exec teams for various organizations in the Latinx community. Worked in El Centro alongside you at one point, and just seeing the amount of growth that's happened over the course of, I guess, 5 years being in Blacksburg now. The walking on campus, you see the difference. You see a lot more culture. It's great, and I think it's very important to me that people see that and are drawn to that. It's really cool getting able to work on those types of programs. I mentioned I was a Gateway student myself coming into my freshman year. That did wonders for me. I had no idea about Virginia Tech when I applied. I was invited after I got accepted, got to see the campus, everything, and that was just like my wow moment. And now I'm here and working for admissions. So I don't like to think about too much about myself, but I like to say, like if I had this experience, who knows what else other students could kind of benefit from this, who might just not have the access or might not have the knowledge about Virginia Tech. So yeah, I think that's one of the coolest parts, is just spreading the word,
That's great. No, we have that connection, and then seeing that the people all do want to come down here to be able to grow the population and actually feel comfortable. It's really nice to have that continuously going, especially given that you said you've been here for 5 years, from being a freshman to now graduating, working for admissions. With that perspective, would you say that Virginia Tech is doing a good job, if not doing a better job continuously at promoting diversity?
I would say so. Yeah, I definitely think that the university itself, the institution, is doing a much better job of trying to diversify the campus, the face of campus. But not only that, I think that the university is definitely getting better at making the campus experience better for students for diverse backgrounds, and that could be ethnically, socioeconomic backgrounds, first gen, things like that. It's more than just the color of your skin. But there are certain things that the university can do to make the experience better for first generation students, or for ethnically diverse students, and ensuring that the campus experience overall is just positive is going to be a great way to not only increase diversity but maintain it and ensure that everybody has a positive experience after they leave Virginia Tech. And given I see what the initiatives are on the admissions team. I know what programs we specifically work on to kind of address and reach underserved groups, and I see the benefits of those programs. And now once they're on campus, I've seen as a student the programs that we have available as a student, for social cultural organizations, or culture shows, or just like anything, like the Virginia Tech is definitely getting better. There's still definitely a very long way to go. Nobody's perfect. There's a lot of histories to undo, a lot of things to resolve. However, I do 100% feel like the university is taking a really great step in the right direction.
Okay, that's awesome. No, that's really positive output. I'm glad that we could be in this community where people really do care about trying to be diverse and get different perspectives on different cultures, or even just like where people get their ideas from.
Right.
I think it's good to be part of that community. A question I did come up with, it wasn't something that we had planned earlier, but what would be something that you would want to tell first gen for international exchange students, or even just someone from a different culture when they come down to Tech, to help them feel a little bit better or find a way to be more at home?
What would I tell them? You threw me on the spot. Let's see. Honestly, I would tell them that this is home. That's the kind of a cop-out answer, some might think, because that's one of Virginia Tech's mottos, but it is home. And if there is a home waiting for you, for anybody here, no matter the background, no matter how small or how big the group is, there is a home for you, and you will find it. You will definitely find it. It's a great place.
That's good. No, I think honestly, when people hear that this is home, it's more like, oh, that's just a little motto or a little thing that's on the sideline. But if you take the time to explore and find something, then more likely you're gonna find something that really does feel like home.
Exactly.
Given things like Gobbler Connect, Gobbler Fair, we have over like 900 plus organizations. There's going to be something that somebody enjoys. There's things like Chocolate Milk Club or Renaissance Fair Club, all kinds of things that I think will definitely help people out. So it sounds like you're saying that reach out and explore as many opportunities as you can.
Right. Yeah. And I always tell, when I talk to high school students on my recruitment visits, I tell them about the random clubs. I talk about my involvement in Latin Link, or the fraternity, or the Chocolate Milk Club that meets on Mondays at D2 to drink chocolate milk together. I tell them about the Harry Potter class that I took as a freshman year, where you read all the Harry Potter books and you talk about it. You get to nerd out with the class, and it's a three credit, academic class. So there's a lot of things that, just can draw people in, and if you explore it, you'll find it. That's how I feel.
If you explore, you'll find it. Words by Daniel. All right, so we'll just move on to our last question here before the 30 minutes are up. But do you believe that being in this position, that you are promoting growth and diversity within the VT population?
For sure. For sure. I think that this the role that I'm serving now is going to, it's paying off. Just the work that I do, reading various applications and seeing who gets accepted, who doesn't, things like that. That I know for a fact that we're doing good things, and I know that our team is great. Our boss is great. He has a full understanding of what it is. He's a first-gen student as well, and he was a first-gen student when he was at Virginia Tech, and so I think having Juan Espinoza, a first-gen Mexican American leader in the admissions team, that's a great thing to have. And there's so many initiatives and programs, not only in admissions but just across the campus that are trying to be effective. And I think that there are some good turnouts from those initiatives.
Well, Daniel, I appreciate you coming by to talk to me. That's all we have for today.
All right.
So appreciate you for coming by. Appreciate you all for listening to this wonderful conversation. Have a wonderful day.
Of course. Have a good one. See ya.